From a driver in southern China who had to reverse away from a massive landslide, and a Mississippi couple who found themselves stuck in the middle of a powerful twister, to a 500-foot bridge that was no match for the power of a freak flash flood, and a rare tornado outbreak in northern China that tore through several towns. Here are 10 mind-blowing natural disasters caught on camera. If you drive about an hour south of Jackson, you'll arrive in Prentiss, Mississippi. It's a small nook in Jefferson Davis County, not to be confused with the ghost town of the same name in northern Mississippi. It was mid-April of 2020. Most people were hunkered down in their homes when a massive tornado outbreak occurred across the United States. Over 140 tornadoes touched down between Texas and Maryland. While the pandemic kept most people inside, this couple found themselves trapped in their car.
Be cool.
Oh!
I think I've just seen a tornado.
Oh my God! Oh!
It's gone.
Oh!
It's gone.
Oh! Oh! Oh God!
I think I've seen the first tornado.
Oh my God! Oh, oh,
Hey.
honey.
What?
Oh, hey. Love
What?
you. Love you.
Love you too.
We love how this guy still finds a reason to laugh even as his windshield cracks, trees fall all around him, and his wife loses her cool. They weren't the only ones caught on the road either. It looks like another car narrowly avoided a falling tree. Thankfully, they seemed okay. We believe the storm this couple got caught in began as an EF4. It tracked for 68 miles and passed through 5 counties, including Jefferson Davis. Wind speeds reached 190 miles per hour at one point, while the storm itself grew to be 2.25 miles wide. Luckily, the storm weakened by the time it reached our couple. Imagine being stuck in your car in the middle of an EF4 tornado. Mount Elbrus is the tallest mountain in Europe and Russia. Fun fact, it's a long dormant volcano that rises more than 18,500 feet above sea level. You'll find it in southwestern Russia, nestled among the other Caucasus Mountains. If you're up for a challenge, you can actually ski down the mountain. Just make sure there are no controlled avalanches scheduled that day. Don't worry, you'll know a controlled avalanche when you see one. They'll have a literal cannon aimed at the mountain. On January 27th of 2021, 2 local men left their car to investigate a giant cloud blocking the road. But it wasn't a cloud at all. It was an avalanche, and it was heading right for them.
Во, мы вылезли. Может, наоборот, на машину сесть. Короче, тут очень опасно сегодня. Лавины всюду. Смотрите, что происходит. Сейчас нас накроет. Ёб твою медь. В тачку бежим! Ёб твою! Ты где? Братан! Смотри, мы на дороге, вдруг какой дебил едет. Ёб твою! Ёб твою!
Thankfully, these guys were never in danger. Most of the heavy stuff settled on the mountain. They may not be able to see, but the rush of snowflakes would never bury them. Now, you can tell this is a controlled avalanche because of the bang you hear at the beginning. That was likely a military-grade howitzer being fired at the mountain. Mountains like Elbrus will trigger avalanches when too much snow builds up. It's obviously safer than waiting for one to happen on its own. Jianyang is a small district within Fujian Province, China. It was once home to a 500-foot bridge connecting 2 small communities on either side of the river. The bridge went up in 2017, but it didn't last very long. Torrential rain battered the area in late June of 2021. On the 29th, several branches broke during a subsequent flood and rushed downriver toward the bridge. Thousands of pounds worth of debris quickly piled against the side. All it took was a little push to rip it down.
哦，一条哎，
哇，一样的。
哇，也挺重了。
那人家的起码要说。
哇，这脚还是扎实哦。
你可以做这样。
好像
我哥已经满了。
咱一会儿个咱也买不着了。
一个买了10颗，
我下来这里了。我再来这里了。
想换的呀，毛事啊？怎么换的呀，毛事啊？哦。
桥倒了，哎，桥倒掉了，哎，水座桥倒掉了，
整个桥
去了，哦，好，去了，哎。
It's funny how spectacles like this draw a crowd. You can tell that everybody knew what was about to happen. We're guessing this wasn't the first bridge collapse they've ever seen. Think of how heavy all that debris must be. Now imagine how much force the river is putting on the pile. The bridge was bound to give sooner or later. These folks are lucky that nobody was trying to cross. Warren, Michigan is a busy city in Macomb County. It's home to about 139,000 people living roughly 13 miles outside of downtown Detroit. On November 26th of 2015, a heavy snowstorm passed through the city. But it snows all the time in the Detroit area. They know how to deal with a few inches of snow. They just weren't ready for what happened the next day. Apparently, the snowstorm had caused some serious damage to this neighbor's power lines.
Power lines.
No, Dad,
That's a house. Mm-hmm.
Hold on,
Out his way. Yeah.
Dude, what the is that?
It's the transformer and the power lines. Yeah.
The bright lights continued for about another minute. They kept buzzing, sparking, and lighting up the sky. Then, all of a sudden, everything stopped. According to our cameraman, the blown transformer caused a blackout across the entire area. Tens of thousands of people were left without power while crews tried to repair the damage. Look at how hot these wires were burning. They're literally bright orange. They finally melt apart and collapse over someone's backyard. Thankfully, the snow doused the flames immediately. China is extremely landslide prone. About 69% of their territory is made up of mountains and plateaus. Because of frequent and heavy rain, the rocks and soil on these slopes loosen, leading to many freak landslides. One of those landslides occurred on August 23rd of 2023 in the Aba prefecture in Sichuan province. Several locals were driving along a main highway when rocks began tumbling. Being from the area, they weren't surprised by what happened next.
Wow, 你看，我的天哪！快！妈的，我们这儿不会有吧？
不要。
该好吧？
不，多等一下，你要开到了是吗？这个车都掉，这还停到这儿啊？好危险啊！
这路应该是堵死了，宝宝。路应该是堵死了。把窗子关起。
快关啊！这儿看不到。车直接掉头。
As you can imagine, the road was closed for some time as crews worked to clear the debris. It took them until 11 a.m. the next morning to open one lane of traffic. Would you risk driving through there the morning after a landslide? Mr. Wong was driving the white van you see getting enveloped in the dust storm. He was about 30 feet away when the first rocks started falling. For a moment, he thought about hitting the gas and racing past the landslide. That's when the whole mountain collapsed, and Mr. Wong threw his van in reverse. He remembers how scary it was when the dust cloud engulfed their car. Luckily, all of the heavy debris was further up the road. Liaoning is the smallest province in northeast China. It sits on the northern shore of the Yellow Sea and is home to roughly 42 million people between 30 cities. On June 1st of 2023, several of those cities experienced one of the wildest tornado outbreaks the region had ever seen. 5 tornadoes touched down across the region. Locals between Fuxin, Shenyang, and many more watched EF2 plus storms ravage their farms and destroy their homes. According to reports, Fuxin City got it the worst. The storm demolished several houses and flipped people's cars upside down. A tornado in Shihuang village damaged over 40 single-story homes. Thankfully, there were no reports of any serious injuries from any of the affected towns. Once the outbreak ended, locals could emerge and inspect the damage. Needless to say, 5 EF2 tornadoes will certainly pack a punch. Cement walls were destroyed, windows were shattered, and a semi-truck was flipped on its side.
通通的。
Tornadoes are rare in China. According to recent statistics, there are only 38 storms reported in the country each year. It's safe to assume there are plenty more that go unreported. Still, it's wild to think that 5 happened on the same day in June of 2023. The Rosa Khutor Alpine Resort is a well-known ski mountain near Sochi, Russia. It was built between 2003 and 2011 and hosted the alpine skiing events during the 2014 Winter Games. It sits about 30 miles east of the city and features 63 trails. A freak emergency on February 20th of 2023 kept everyone off the chairlifts. An avalanche was spotted barreling down the mountain, and, oddly enough, it was carrying something with it.
Ужас. А людей-то не зацепило, надеюсь? А мы как домой поедем, если это сейчас все вниз?
Нет, это же... А, ну хотя фигня.
Это же просто жесть. Не, вниз, как раз
Идите скорее, Александр! Снимаем!
Просто лэп едет, лэп.
What you just saw was an electrical pylon being dragged down the mountain. It's unclear how far up the mountain the pylon broke, but it looks like it traveled a great distance. You can see where part of it is bent and twisted in half. Elsewhere, skiers were caught off guard when snow from the avalanche piled against the lodge. They worked together to bail themselves out, since staying in a lodge with no power wasn't an option. Thankfully, nobody was in the avalanche's path when it started. The only damage was to the electrical tower and a snowblower. Baojing County is a normally scenic region in Hunan Province, China. We say normally because in late June of 2023, record-breaking rainfall turned the entire area into a murky river. It had already been a hot and rainy summer across China. Things didn't get any better between June 29th and 30th, when over a foot of rain fell in just 13 hours. All that water quickly overwhelmed the rivers and drainage systems, leading to this wild scene out of Baojing. According to reports, the storm began around 8 p.m. on the 29th and didn't stop until 2 p.m. on the 30th. In that time, 314.5 millimeters of rain, or about 12.3 inches, fell on Baojing County. It was the most rain the region had ever seen since they began keeping records in 1961. Roads looked more like rivers. The rushing water dragged cars away like Hot Wheels. Some people were even trapped inside, but the fire department was able to save them with life vests and rubber dinghies. Baojing wasn't the only city to suffer either. At least 16 Chinese cities and provinces experienced record-breaking rainfall in the summer of 2023. According to reports, Beijing got 7 months of rain in just 83 hours. In early August of 2023, the island of Maui was engulfed in flames. A massive string of wildfires broke out on the second largest of the Hawaiian Islands. Nobody got it worse than the beach town of Lahaina. Firefighters fought an impossible battle on land. Wind from Hurricane Dora caused the fire to spread faster than they could fight it. Meanwhile, the Hawaiian National Guard tried their best to battle the blaze from the sky. Over 5 long, hot hours, 2 air crews dumped 58 buckets of water over upcountry Maui. That many helicopter buckets equals over 100,000 gallons. The Maui fire likely started after winds from Hurricane Dora knocked down utility wires. They fell over a dry field near Lahaina Intermediate School. Sparks ignited the dry brush, and hurricane-force winds carried the embers across the island. First responders had the fire under control initially. It wasn't until later that afternoon that 70-mile-per-hour wind kicked it up again and spread the fire even further. On September 1st of 2021, the National Weather Service issued the first ever flash flood warning in New York City. Hurricane Ida had just smashed into Louisiana a few days prior. Powerful storms inundated the tri-state area with catastrophic level rain. While trying to escape the rain, Joe and his girlfriend hopped on a bus heading into Queens. Little did they know this city bus was about to become a duck boat.
Good work! Good work!
They could see the storm drains overflowing as they reached Queens Boulevard and Elmhurst. The street looked more like a flowing river, but our brave bus driver kept going. Even as water flooded the bus, she expertly navigated the deepest part of the flood and emerged safely on the other side. Even then, New York still looked like a disaster movie.
Look at this car. It's like...
Their bus driver eventually reached higher ground. Joe and his girlfriend were able to catch another bus, or should we say a duck boat, to their apartment in Queens. Relentless rain quickly overwhelmed the city's sewer system, which can usually handle 1.75 inches of water per hour. Unfortunately, more than double that fell in Central Park alone. Water flooded the streets, cascaded into the subway system, and destroyed countless basements. About 33,500 buildings sustained some kind of damage. That's roughly 3.3% of all buildings in New York City. If you enjoyed this video and want to see another just like it, be sure to click the link on screen now. With that, thanks for watching, and be sure to tune in next time.